Let's stay with the country's economic problems. The Labour Department has increased the temporary employer-employee relief scheme from 400 million rand to 2.4 billion. This is for this financial year. This is also in a bid to help struggling employers avoid retrenchments. The department's acting Director-General is Viwe Mlenzana, who joins us now. Acting DG, good evening to you and thank you for your time. 400 million rand, and that has now been bumped up to 2.4 billion. What are you anticipating that we may not be aware of?
Well, good evening, Chloe, and thank you very much for having us. Look, I think, it would be fair to suggest that our data sets are indicating that there are some, sectors within the economy that are beginning to contemplate some retrenchments. And some of them have already actually approached us to apply for what we refer to as temporary employer-employee relief scheme, which seeks to assist employers that are in distress.
And so this significant boost, therefore, as per your communique today, this boost, it aims to assist companies in distress and prevent the employees from being retrenched amid this unstable economic conditions. Those were the words attributed to the minister. How close are we to that edge, acting DG, of people starting to get layoffs? And how confident are you that by increasing this amount, you are going to be able to help these companies turn the corner?
Well, so, Dolly, we have noticed that, for instance, the mining sector, particularly the PGMs, are beginning to contemplate some retrenchments. Some of these mining companies have already approached us. We've also gotten indications that the manufacturing sector is beginning to have some difficulties in certain aspects. Also, of course, the telecoms. Now, the CCMA is normally a very good barometer when it comes to potential layoffs or retrenchments, if you like, because what tends to happen is that employers and employees tend to first, get such, contemplations mediated by the CCMA. So if you look at some of the stats that is coming out of the CCMA, we're beginning to see some signs that are indicating to us that there is a bit of an upswing in retrenchments, as it were. But what we're hoping to do, Kuli, and the public at large, we're hoping with this increased amount of money from 400 million to 2.4 billion rand is going to mitigate against some of those contemplations. How does this work generally? Employers who are facing some difficulties in terms of their financial flows would then apply for TERS through CCMA, and the timelines for that generally would take about a period of about a month, and they will then be able to get a response from us in terms of an indication of the outcome of that application. Furthermore, it would be useful to suggest that it is critically important that the money that gets given to employers is used for purposes that it is designed for. We have seen in the past that not necessarily happening, and therefore we do urge those that then would apply from us to use the money that is afforded to them for alleviating retrenchments, as it were.
Yeah. Let's then round off this conversation, Acting DG. There is an entity within the department. It's called Productivity SA. What is its main role when it comes to offering solutions to struggling companies? What exactly do they do?
Productivity SA, in fact, its main responsibility is to assist companies, again, that are going through some difficulties. The difference with this one is that PDSA looks at offering services in form of, manpower, or in other words, it would assist companies with turnaround strategies by providing assistance, not in form of money, but in terms of consulting where required and assisting such a company to turn around to its default position, which hopefully is a protectable and profitable one rather. So that's what Productivity SA does. And of course, it does work in tandem with TERS. In fact, some of the members of Productivity SA are part of the committee members that sit to adjudicate these TERS monies that gets appropriated.
Yeah. Acting DG, let me then conclude that conversation on the TERS part. But this particular one, the question that's following now has to do with some of the inspections that have been undertaken by your department, where it be restaurants employing people that may not necessarily be in the country properly so, or it is companies themselves transgressing. And I'm deviating, DG, because in part, this is all in an effort to help these companies turn the corner. But then you have those that deliberately break the law. And this has actually even raised the ire of the Minister of Sports, Arts and Culture. And I suppose he would take this up partly because of the political party that he leads, which has a particular stance on people who are not in South Africa legally so. The Chief Inspector in your office, Ms. Siphokazi Macozoma, in fact, she was interviewed by this channel some time ago, and she was quoted as saying that illegal foreigners who are caught during the raids must be helped in order for them to be documented so that they can be assisted. Now, Mr. McKenzie replied saying the following: "This is why we are sitting with this problem, because we have this type of inspectors. I will take this up with the minister responsible urgently." Have you heard from your counterpart who sits in sport as to what the key grievance is here that he was complaining about?
So, Claudia, the protocol suggests that the minister will talk to minister and DGs talk to DGs. I certainly have not heard yet from the DG of Arts and Culture. Probably I will still hear from them, but so far I have not. But also just want to go back to the issue that you're raising about, the responsibility of employers to comply with the laws of our country. For instance, we may recall that during COVID, TERS was pivotal in trying to mitigate against the strife that companies were going through during that time. Now, of course, some of the employers did not necessarily use the money for what it was designed for. As a result, clearly 16 employers have since been convicted. One of the highest convictions that we've seen there is 20 years, and for the reason that employers did not necessarily comply with the law. So from that particular amount of money, by the way, just for you to know, we had disbursed about 65 billion rand. So far, we have recovered 1.2 billion that has actually not necessarily been used for what it was supposed to. And of course, we continue with those investigations going forward.
Yeah, I suppose, Acting DG, I may have been clumsy in putting this question to you. I guess the key complaint here was against the Chief Inspector, saying that those who are in the country illegally must be helped so that they can become legal. And that seemed to be the grievance. And so perhaps what they want to know is whether or not there will be action against her. Is this something that is permissible that she should have been promoting?
Look, I think some of the utterances that have come through from the inspector, from the Gauteng area, which you have mentioned, are rather unfortunate. That's not necessarily the position of the department in as far as this is concerned. And let's clarify this particular aspect. It is contemplated in terms of the Employment Services Act that preference in terms of certain job categories would be given to, or should be given to South Africans, all right? And it's unequivocal in as far as that is concerned.
Yeah.
Now, therefore, what it then means is that it does make provision that where we have critical skills, those then can also be opened up for foreign nationals, as it were. But the key to it is that at the end of the day, if employers and employees are, if employees are undocumented, then they're obviously going to face the might of the law. That will also include the employers. If ever employers are employing employees that are not necessarily documented, then obviously there would be consequences in as far as that is concerned.
Viwe Mlenzana, thank you very much for your time. He is the Acting Director General at the Department of Employment and Labour.